So, hello, this is Jen from the Saratoga Springs Public Library. Thank you for joining us for our community conversation today. In each episode, we plan on introducing you to one of our local community organizations and telling you a little bit more about what they do and what they offer the community. So, today's guest is Daniela. Daniela, what is your last name? Is it Norden?
Yes,
Okay,
Norden, Nordin. Yep.
great. Daniela Norden, and she's the Director of Outreach for Saratoga WarHorse. So, thank you again for joining us, Daniela.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jennifer. This is great.
Sure, sure. So I'd like to start the conversation with asking you to tell us a little bit about your role in the organization.
Yeah, I like to describe my role in three different sections. I'm the director of outreach, which is sometimes an overwhelming word for people, but I find that if you prioritize and create a hierarchy, you're in much better shape. So the three things that I'm really focused on, the first is spreading the message about Saratoga WarHorse. So this means I maintain the website, I do email communications, we have a list of members that we communicate with, great list of volunteers that we communicate with. I'm essentially the voice of Saratoga WarHorse on all of the public platforms. Um, and then I'm also in charge of helping recruit more veteran participants. So part of my job is to build relationships and strengthen relationships with local VAs, with other nonprofit organizations that serve veterans, and other organizations in the area to help get the word out about our program and how it helps veterans. And then the third part is really similar to that, but it's really raising support. So because we are a nonprofit, um, we are 100% funded by charitable donations. So because of supporters and people and grants, all of that stuff makes a difference and really keeps our program, which is one of the cool things I think about our program, is that we offer it at no cost to the veterans, and support from outside organizations helps us maintain that. So it's a big job, but it's an important job, and I like staying busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it keeps you very much engaged with the community.
Yes, and what a great community to be engaged in. I don't think I have to tell anybody. Saratoga Springs is a wonderful place to live and work, so we are lucky to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, you mentioned a little bit about the organization being nonprofit and working with veterans. And for those of us that may not know as much about what Saratoga Warhorse does, can you tell us a little bit about the organization's mission or history?
Absolutely. So we have a tagline that we say, it's helping veterans and helping horses, and our program really does that. So our goal is to improve the mental, emotional, physical symptoms of veterans who are suffering from the symptoms of post-traumatic stress. A lot of these symptoms are depression, isolation, suicidal ideation, really hard and heavy symptoms from their time in service. And we also help are off the track thoroughbred racehorses. I know people in Saratoga can say that rolling off the tongue, but I always stumble over it. So, um, one of the reasons we only work with off the track thoroughbreds is because their transition from their career on the track to wherever they end up next really mimics closely the transition of a military active duty service member into what comes next. So both the veteran and the horse are, highly specialized, trained in one area. They go in young. They still have a lot of life left once they finish their career, and they struggle with what their purpose and their value is. So our program uses a natural horsemanship technique that pairs a veteran and a horse in a round pen, and it really is built to establish trust between the two. I say the best way to kind of explain this is it's not therapy, because therapy sort of implies that it will be continued. We come in at a really crucial point of intervention and help that veteran. Maybe sometimes it's take that next step to reach out and go to therapy. We say it really just opens the door to what the veteran is looking for next and what help they need.
Mhm. So this is a follow-up question I have. I just
Sure.
love your, can you tell me a little bit about some of the reactions that you've had from the veterans working with the horses? Like, do you see that right away?
Oh yeah, it's actually I'll remember the first time I helped with the program. So we have what we call a veteran program facilitator, and that's a veteran who's been through the program, and they really act as a guide. So they pick up the veterans from the airport. A lot of times, the folks that come to our program, getting to the airport is a struggle. You know, even picking up the phone and calling us is a struggle. So we have a veteran whose main role is to make people feel comfortable and safe and secure while they're in our program. So I remember I was working with a veteran facilitator to kind of learn and get the, lay of the land on my first day. And I had gone with him to pick up one of our veterans, and we dropped him off at the hotel. They get their own hotel room so that they're safe and comfortable. We have dinner, and then the next day is our program. And I remember watching him go through the round pen, and I'm crying watching him go through this. And he comes out and he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, but Josh, I've seen you, as I picked you up, as you've gone through this, and watching you do this and seeing the weight being lifted off your shoulders was something that was just extremely moving. So I do sometimes see it immediately, and I think the veterans will tell you they see it immediately, but sometimes it takes a while. Maybe the veteran thinks that they don't make a connection with that horse in the round pen. One of the things we do is we record all of the video connections and we mail it out to the veterans afterwards so they can have it forever. And I've seen a couple where people are like, "Oh, my horse was stubborn," or "It took too long to do this," or "I was too scared for this." And then afterwards in the debrief or when they get their video, it hits them that they really did make a connection. They just didn't feel it in that moment. So I've seen both. I think it depends on the person. And honestly, it depends on the horse too.
Yeah, it kind of like people. I imagine there's a good connection sometimes, and then sometimes you have to find a different horse for a different person and to make that connection.
Absolutely. And one of the things we talk about, we do a debrief after the program where all the veterans get together and, make sure everybody feels safe and comfortable with their experience, is that a lot of times what you see the horse do in the round pen mimics a lot of what we go through in life. So sometimes that horse really does want to take that next step, and is too scared. And how many times have we been too scared to, take a next step or to reach out and get help? So we try to draw those connections between the horse and the veteran so that they know we're all in this together.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Nice. Well, what you mentioned some of the kinds of programs and services the organization offers. Also, what do you see as the most pressing concern right now? Like, do you see a lot of additional need for these services? Are you getting a lot more people reaching out to participate?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two things I kind of want to say. I mentioned that it's at no cost to the veterans, so that's something that's really important to us. Again, to make people feel safe and secure for the program. And then what we're seeing a lot of is active duty members who are serving on the front line of this pandemic.
Mm.
We actually recently launched a program called Military Armed Forces and Racehorses, specifically designed to help those people who are on the front lines of COVID-19. I mean, the example I think we think of here in New York is the Navy ship, the Comfort, that was docked in Manhattan, and then the aircraft carrier too, where they had an outbreak. But even all of the armed forces, military, army that are being called in to help with testing, to help with setting up field hospitals, they're all going through and are going to see a lot of things that are going to be traumatic for them. And we want to stand in solidarity with them. So we launched a new program specifically to help these people come through our program if they need the help. We do not require a diagnosis. You only need to prove that you were active duty or military. So we really want to help these folks, and we know this is going to be a long road. So that's where we're seeing the most pressing need, I think, right now.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Yes.
So if people do need help right now, how is the best way for them to reach out to you guys? I mean, is it through your website? Is it to contact the veteran liaison that you mentioned?
Yes, all of the above.
Okay.
So, yeah, I want people to know, out of an abundance of caution and because of the safety issues and the global health, public health crisis that's going on right now, our programs are suspended. Now, as we are moving through the phased reopening in our regions, we are, following protocol, and hopefully we'll get up and running in safe and healthy way and make people again feel safe about coming. But we do have a wait list. So there's about 60 veterans on our wait list right now. So you can absolutely call and get on our wait list to talk to our veteran intake coordinator. We do have a vetting process. If you know a veteran who is in need, we do not take information from you. This veteran has to opt in themselves. But if they're more comfortable sending an email or filling out the contact form and saying, hey, I just want a conversation, maybe now isn't the right time, or I want to be on the waiting list, you can absolutely do that. So our phone number is 518-886-8131. And then our website is SaratogaWarHorse.org. And you'll be able to find our contact form there. Should also say this is something that is kind of gets lost in the mix because our name is Saratoga WarHorse. People think that we are only in Saratoga. We actually have 2 other locations, one in Baltimore, Maryland, and one in South Carolina. Wow. Yeah, and as those states start to reopen, we'll start facilitating, the right place for the veteran to go. Maybe it's the South Carolina program or the Baltimore program while New York waits and remains safe through the pandemic. So there are options.
Wow, great. And so it sounds like too, for people that might be a little bit hesitant, but curious, that they can call and just talk to somebody, or like you said, send an email and get the conversation started, even if they're not ready to take the next step yet.
Absolutely. And that happens a lot. Like I said before, sometimes it's difficult for people to pick up the phone, but it's easy to fill out a form and then we do it on your own. We'll call and say, hey, when's a good time to talk? Or if you prefer text, we can text too. We've worked with a lot of folks over the years to meet them where they are, because our main goal is really just to get people the help that they need.
Yeah, wonderful. Are there any other things or resources that you'd like to let people know about? You mentioned, and I had no idea that there were a couple other places that in the country that offered the service too, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and it's all under the Saratoga WarHorse banner, which is great. So I'm actually glad that you asked that because we would not be able to do our program without our horse partners. So we partner with Rerun Thoroughbred Rescue down in East Greenbush. In South Carolina, we partner with Equine Rescue of Aiken, and then at the Baltimore Ag Center with the Foxy G Foundation. So what's important about these horse rescues and partners is that they offer use of their facilities and their horses at no cost to Saratoga WarHorse. Again, keeping that cost affordable for the veteran, which has been really awesome. The other thing I should say about our horses too is our program is mutually beneficial. So while the veteran is getting the help that they need, the more contact, the more human contact, and the more positive human contact these off-the-track thoroughbreds have with humans, the more adoptable they become. So I know at the New York location, 2 of the horses we had been using for the past 8 months actually were adopted out last month, which is huge. So we love to hear those stories of high octane horses or horses who have had a rough go after working with with the veterans in our program, that they're able to see successful second careers. In Aiken, we used I think we've used 56 horses over the last 5 years, and 43 of them have had successful adoptions, which feels really great.
Wow, that's wonderful. So yeah,
Yes.
it's such a benefit for so many beings, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
An animal, yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I think I had one last question that came up as I was thinking about, and because you mentioned earlier on volunteers, and I know right now with COVID and everything, a lot of things are on pause. But if people are interested in helping or being a volunteer or donating, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so our webpage, because as much as I would love to see everybody in person and give them hugs and shake hands, unfortunately we can't do that right now. But on our webpage, you'll find volunteer information. We are always looking for help with, honestly, food meals, and preparation is a big deal for us. We like to have what I call team dinners. So the class of veterans will eat dinner, all meals together, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and then dinner the second day, and then breakfast on the third day. And we're always looking for volunteers to help that. I had a veteran a couple months ago say, I can't remember the last time I sat down and ate dinner with this many people. Usually I am in front of the TV by myself, and it's so nice to have just like a family style, dinner. So that's a nice, easy way for people to get involved and to really see directly the impact that the program has on veterans. We also look for volunteers to help us video the connection process I was talking about. So you can help man the camera. If you're a professional photographer, we love to have photography to offer up to our veterans that really showcase the connection that they've made with their horse. So there's plenty of opportunities. Also, administrative work. I know that sometimes it's a little overwhelming for people to meet other people, but we're always looking for help mailing out those video connections or putting them up on our Dropbox for people to download. Volunteers can help with that. And I will say all volunteers have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so there is a little bit of paperwork, but again, that's to really keep the veterans' confidentiality and information secure. And then donations, always. We are always accepting donations. You can do that directly on our webpage at saratogawarhorse.org/donate. And one of the nice things I like to say is $25 is the cost of that video connection. It pays for the volunteer to man the camera, it pays for staff time to get that up and running, and it pays for, postage if we mail or jump drive. So a gift as small as $25 really is something as tangible as getting that video out to the veteran. And of course, I would not say no if you decided to donate, 1,025 of those videos. But we can talk about that down the road.
Every bit helps, yeah.
Yes, every little bit
And that was
helps.
not a horse joke there with the bit.
Pun unintended.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Danielle, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us this morning. I have learned a lot. I hope that our viewers have learned a lot about your organization and that you'll get some people calling, whether it's to volunteer or to connect with the horses in your organization. And thank you again for all of the work that you're doing. I mean, it's really appreciated.
Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I'm excited. We're excited to be a part of the community here. We know Saratoga is a great place. So thanks for giving us the chance to share a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those of you watching this, we will have the information that Daniela provided with the phone number, the website, Facebook pages, etc. So please, again, feel free to watch this video, get that information, reach out to them, and we hope to come to you with more in the future. So thank you all very much. Stay well and have a great day. Bye.